everybody, and welcome to video number 27 in my EFT series. And what I decided to do this time is what is very currently in the news, which is about fear and panic about the coronavirus. So it has been a while. I wanted to do this video, but I've been quite busy working, and so I've been postponing it. But now that the situation is getting worse and worse, and I think the WHO organization then declared that this is now a pandemic, I thought, yeah, let me go and do it, because I think this is what we all need at the moment, is you know, sort of like to reflect on the fear, reflect on the panic, and all these things around which are going on for us. And we had the first cases of coronavirus in Brighton at the beginning of February, which has been a long time ago, and at that time there were around 7 cases, and they were all managed to be basically contained within contact tracing and everything else. But at that time it was so close to home that my own surgery had to be cleaned because some doctors there got infected. And also the school where I work, there were cases of people who were in contact with the very first cases we had here, and they had to self-isolate. And for me, this was kind of bringing a lot of panic, because there is a lot of we actually do not know about the virus. And my great-grandmother died in the Spanish flu epidemic outbreak in the 1918. So for me, this is kind of quite big, because a lot of the health issues I had were associated with unhealthy grieving from loss, for example, that my grandmother had when her grandmother died. Oh, sorry, when her own mother died. I mean, it's my great-grandmother, of course. And my grandmother was never able to grieve for that loss. She had a younger sister she was looking after. Also, her father had a farm, so now my grandmother, who was only 10, suddenly had to put herself into adult role, and she was helping her father to cook for the staff that used to work on the farm that her father owned. And so for me, it's kind of been starting to trigger quite a few points. So I started to panic. So I said to myself, oh my God, I am going to get this, and I'm going to be very ill, and I might die, you know, and all these kinds of things. And so I started to do tapping, and I will show you examples of what I was doing at that time. So I was tapping on all the panic, all the anxiety which I was getting from the fear, all the collective fear, because it wasn't just me who was panicking about this, it was a lot of other people, but the people were kind of triggering my weak points. So they would be triggering something, you know, even that is collective. I mean, I think I mentioned it in one of my earlier videos, that the Swiss psychologist Carl Jung talks about the collective subconscious, and this is all the fears all of us have. And so it's particularly relevant at this time when we've got the coronavirus issues and everything around it, that we all have got this collective fear, and we all trigger each other with various kind of fears. So acknowledging the fear, and it's okay to have the fear. I mean, if you say to me, oh, I don't have any fear about it, then I would kind of think, oh, you must be kind of either very enlightened, or you are ignoring it so much that that's not very beneficial either. Because I know people who like say to me, oh, I don't have time to worry about the coronavirus, I've got other more important things to worry about. But these people only kind of say it because you know, they are worried about it, and because they don't want to express the fear, and they want to push it to the, you know, out of the way. That's what they say, but actually pushing our fear away is not beneficial for us. It's far better to acknowledge the fear which we have, than pushing it to one side. So I will show some examples of tapping suggestions which you could kind of do around the coronavirus, and of course please do adapt those to how it is for you, because each one of our experiences will be different. So these will just be suggestions how it's for you, so please do adapt it to your own words, to how it is for you. And yeah, so let us start. So even though I've got this fear about coronavirus and I panic when I hear any news about it, and it's usually bad news, more and more people are getting infected, more and more people are dying from it. But I allow myself to relax and honor the way I feel. Even though I've got this fear and anxiety, which really is the fear of the fear about this coronavirus, all the bad news are coming about it, and it's all out there in the community, and I do not know much about it. Even the scientists do not know about it. I love and accept myself, and I honor the way I feel. So even though I've got all this anxiety about the coronavirus and all the fear about it, the fear that I will catch it, that my family might catch it, the fear that I might lose loved ones, I honor the way I feel. And so just as we tap on the points, just do the setup. Just do the reminder phrases, which could just be this coronavirus panic. Just keep it simple. Just this coronavirus panic. This coronavirus fear. This coronavirus anxiety. This coronavirus fear. All this madness about people buying and stockpiling. All this coronavirus fear. All this coronavirus anxiety. All this coronavirus fear. All this coronavirus anxiety. All this coronavirus fear. All this coronavirus anxiety. All this coronavirus fear. So now take a deep breath and tune in to the anxiety. I would usually remind you to tune in to the anxiety before and after tapping. Rate what is the number. If it's 0 or close to 0, that means, oh, actually I'm okay about it, I'm not worried at all. But if it's closer to 10, then obviously you are worried, and that's okay. And it might also have gone up. So if someone says to me, yeah, but I've started tapping, and at the beginning my fear was only 2 or 3, but now actually you made me now very anxious about it. I'm now at 8, 9 or even 10. What have you done? And my answer to that would be, well, you've only been repressing the fear and anxiety. So actually it's good that you were brave enough that you now have been tuning into this anxiety and you're prepared to work on the anxiety. And it is safe, because in this moment in time it is safe to tap on it, even though I would always, of course, advise you to look after yourself and your own well-being while you are tapping. So did you feel this fear or anxiety in any part of your body? And if you did, continue tapping on that wherever the place is in your body, and restoring the right energy flow or balance to this area. So the tapping could look something like that. Even though I've got this fear, this aches. In my case, I'm feeling aches in my shoulders. All this fear and all this anxiety is now in my shoulders. I love and accept myself and the way I feel. So you do the setup 3 times, and then what you could do is you could start releasing. As you're tapping, you could start releasing all this fear, all this anxiety, or all these kind of energy blocks in your body. So you could say, I restore the right energy flow to whichever area it is. I'm letting go of all this anxiety. I am releasing all of this fear. I am restoring the right balance to this area. So for me it's the shoulders, so I'm restoring the right balance to my shoulders. So fill in wherever it is for you. I am releasing all this coronavirus fear, all this anxiety. I'm letting go. All this coronavirus fear. I am releasing all this fear, releasing all this anxiety. I am restoring the right energy flow to my shoulders, restoring the right balance to my shoulders, restoring the right energy flow to my shoulders. Okay, so I take a deep breath. And I'm tuning in to this anxiety and to this fear. And I would ask you, what is coming up for you? If it is the pain in your shoulder, it would be in my case in my shoulder, you can continue tapping on it. But you can also, there might be some memories of events from the past. And for me, memories start coming up of me being a small child and being always ill, having pneumonias, tonsillitis, and having to be kind of very alone and in isolation because I would be taking antibiotics and I wouldn't be allowed to go out to play with other children. So there is this big part of my childhood when I left out, when I felt all on my own. And so if that is something which is coming up for you, something from the past, then this would be a good time for you to tap on that as well. So I would tap, even though I've got these memories of me being very ill as a small child, suffering with pneumonias and tonsillitis, and I had to be in isolation. I could not go out to play. I love and accept myself anyway. So you do the sit-ups 3 times, and then just remind the phrases. So I was always ill when I was small. Maybe not always, but it felt like that. This image of me having to be in bed, not being able to go out to play with others. I also had a tonsil operation. I was just 5. I had to be in the hospital for 2 weeks. I missed my family. All this fear of being abandoned in the hospital. All this isolation. All this pain. I felt hot and bothered. I did not have much energy. I was not allowed to play anyway. I had to be in bed. So again, take a deep breath in and just feel what keeps coming up for you. And for me, what I now feel is, I feel, yes, I was abandoned, but I also got this fear of, what the fear which is coming up for me is also the fear, what if I lose my loved ones, and then I'm worried about then, and rather than worrying about myself, I worry about others. I worry about my loved ones, having the coronavirus and then perhaps losing them again. And you see, all this is connected to the losses that my grandmother suffered when her own mother died. And so that might be something, all the things which come up for you might be good to tap, that might be all good for you to tap on that. And I was just going to say that, we've got all this fear which keeps coming up for us. It's making us worse because we would be constantly in the fight and flight response, and that does not help our immunity. So it's good, it's really good to educate ourselves about the coronavirus, and the more we get educated, the less we will be led by false news, or as I said, we just had empty shelves in the supermarkets because people were stockpiling on all kinds of things, not just food, but things like bleach and toilet paper. And this doesn't really help us. And so it's like as I said, it's good to tune in to your own fears and work on your own issues and recognize then what is just, whether you're just reacting to fears of others. And what I have done is I have kind of written out all the things which I like to tap on. And so I just thought it might be a good idea to wrap up this video is for us just to go through the tappings which I kind of do regularly. And it is about releasing all these attachments to the coronavirus and things like that. So I release all the attachment to the coronavirus. I release all my anxieties about the coronavirus. I release all the attachment what I should or should not be feeling. I I release all the attachment to what I should or should not be feeling or doing. I restore the right energy flow to all my shoulders. I release or I restore the right balance to my shoulders. So please feel free to say wherever that is for you, where you feel the fear and anxiety. I release all emotional attachment to the projection that I will catch the virus or that I could die. I release all my fantasies about the coronavirus. I release my attachment to other people's anxieties. I release attachment to all my panic. I release attachment at the panic I have of other people's panic. And there are people out there who do not know what they're doing. And I release all that fear I've got of the coronavirus. Take a deep breath, and you could welcome love and healing. So to wrap it up at the end, I like always to tap on the positives at the end. So just welcoming love for myself, love for all the people, love for all the people who are suffering with the coronavirus, for all the loved ones, and just tap on the love, the healing energy, love and healing energy for myself, and healing energy for the whole world. And yeah, so what I'm doing is, every time I hear some panic, I start worrying, I start reading too much into all these, I like to ground myself and feel where is it in my body, that I need to send love to, and then I do it. Then I send love to that part of the body that likes to heal. So thank you for watching my video, and all the best for you and your families during these difficult times, and see you during my next video. Bye for now.